Hello everyone, in this video I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Shahbaz Gill to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Shahbaz Gill's words. Let's begin with today's most important news, starting from Washington, D.C. This week in Washington is quite significant because many important things are happening. We'll first give you an update from there, and then we'll share some very crucial news from Pakistan. The weather in Washington, D.C. this week is extremely pleasant. That's because this year, unlike usual, cold weather has lingered longer in New York, Chicago, and D.C. Normally summer begins by the end of April or mid-May, but this year it's been delayed by 15 to 20 days. While it wasn't technically cold, there was still a chill in the air at night, which delayed the blooming of flowers. Now, however, flowers are blooming all around. It's a spring-like scene which normally happens earlier. But something else very important is happening here. This week is LGBTQ Pride Week in Washington. Lesbians, gays, and members of the LGBTQ community are gathering from all around the world. They will participate in a parade on the 7th of June. Everywhere you go in Washington, D.C., you see pride-themed colors and scenes. Now moving to the next story, still from Washington, D.C., Bilawal Bhutto has arrived this week with his delegation. They came for diplomacy and talks on behalf of Pakistan. However, judging from the pictures coming out of D.C., it seems less like diplomacy and more like tourism. They're enjoying the streets and markets of D.C., soaking in the beautiful weather, sunshine and scenery. According to our sources, they've spent the entire day outdoors and even had a brunch or outing around the Potomac River. So far, there are no visible diplomatic activities. But what's clear is that plenty of sightseeing is happening, all on the taxpayers' money. And it's surprising, such a large delegation was sent. But who will they even meet? US senators and congressmen don't have enough time or even space in their offices to meet large groups. It's highly unlikely they'll meet President Trump. Even ordinary people won't be able to meet them with such a big entourage. 8 people have come, probably with their spouses too, though missing from photos. With such a massive group, no meaningful conversations can happen. It would have been better if only 2 or 3 people came. You could have made 3 small delegations instead. Send one to the UK, one to the US, one to Europe. But instead, all were sent to America. And now they themselves don't know what they're here to do. The Americans certainly don't have time to engage in hour-long meetings with large groups. Even on a talk show, 3 people can't speak properly. And here we have 8, not counting the Americans they'll be meeting. So who will speak, and how much will they say? And whatever Bilawal has to say, can't Khurram Dastgir or Hina Rabbani say that too? If you had to send someone, 1 or 2 representatives would have been enough. But this is clearly done for optics. Chaudhry Sahib wanted to send a grand entourage, just so it looks like powerful diplomacy is happening against India. In reality, it's all for show. It's as if a wedding party has arrived in Washington. Bilawal looks like the groom, and the others, the aunts, uncles and relatives, are following him around like it's a wedding trip. Meanwhile, Chaudhry Sahib's corps commanders are also out engaging with students. We'll come to that shortly. But first, one final piece of news from Washington. The third major development, well, it's that India, China and the United States are currently stuck in some rather difficult trade negotiations. President Trump just recently mentioned that he likes President Xi a lot, but he's waiting to see if a deal can actually be made. The entire American business community is watching this closely, almost holding their breath. If a deal happens, things will move forward. If not, well, they simply won't. And now, the last and rather surprising bit of news. The United States Department of Education just announced that Columbia University, one of the world's top universities, mind you, has failed to meet accreditation standards. This has, quite frankly, shocked everyone. Even Trump's cabinet continues to create problems, for him and for themselves. Let's see how this dispute with Harvard and other universities plays out. In Balochistan, the Corps Commander held a special session today with students and staff at Quetta College of Medical Sciences, College of Dentistry and College of Nursing. He told them how India was defeated and emphasized how this short conflict was handled. Even though it wasn't exactly a war, it lasted only 4 days, they are still celebrating it as a military victory. The Air Force led the operation and really deserves the credit. Despite that, some people who didn't even fight were awarded ranks like Field Marshal. Now Corps commanders are visiting universities across the country trying to milk this moment. Another commander held a special session with Punjab University in Lahore, and another did the same in Bahawalpur with various educational institutions. All of them are spreading a narrative of military pride, feeding off nationalistic emotions. The story being sold is, India attacked and the army saved us. Of course, the army saved us. We built such a powerful military for that very reason. Even DG ISPR said the army also does things like cleaning, sweeping and so on. Sure, we have 37 other military forces globally doing all kinds of tasks, but we still take pride in our own army. We don't want a few people in the army to control everything. Installing surveillance in homes or using force against civilians. Even if elections are rigged by them, whether they are general elections or elsewhere, and all these political activities, or even if we win a war, or even conquer India, still, the army cannot be allowed to take on this kind of work. When we speak of the army here, we're referring to a handful of people at the top who are forming such policies with the intent of gaining complete control over the country. This cannot be permitted. So the question stands, how are you carrying out these actions? These operations are being carried out in full force, and we thought it important to present this situation to you first. What our Corps commanders are doing. On one hand, they're meeting with teachers and faculty, but on the other, we are not refraining from continuing our own oppressive operations. For example, Mr. Chaudhry has now directed the FIA, the Federal Investigation Agency, to start a new crackdown against Imran Khan's sister and other women associated with Tariq-e-Insaf. The National Cybercrime and Investigation Agency, yes, the same agency that just filed a new FIR, or First Information Report, against me 3 days ago, is now summoning Imran Khan's sister and other women over allegedly sharing anti-state content on social media. Notices have been issued to 4 individuals, and 5 have been summoned to respond on June 5th. Mr. Chaudhry doesn't give you a moment to breathe. One moment you receive a notice, the next you're told to respond immediately. So while on one side our Corps commanders are trying to gain the trust of the public and students by showcasing good work, on the other, we are suppressing our opponents, especially their women, through case after case, while chanting slogans of national unity. Let's now go straight to Balochistan, where the third piece of news comes from. In some parts of Balochistan, wearing a mask or covering one's face in public has now been banned due to the severe threat of terrorism. People don't know where or when an act of terror might happen. This report comes from Mohammed Kazim for BBC Urdu from Quetta. Another interesting bit of news he shares is that riding double on a motorcycle has also been banned in some areas. In districts like Noshki and Surab, if you recall, the entire town of Surab was once taken over. Now, according to media reports, the additional deputy commissioner who was earlier said to have died heroically in a clash was in fact suffocated to death. Originally, it was stated that he was martyred in battle, but the current reports suggest he died due to suffocation, an unfortunate and serious contradiction that needs to be investigated. So yes, these cities are facing a full-blown law and order crisis. Mask bans, motorcycle riding bans. It really reflects the dire situation on the ground. In District Kech of Balochistan, which borders Iran, Assistant Commissioner Mohammed Hanif Nurzai has reportedly been abducted by unknown armed individuals. Deputy Commissioner Bashir Balok confirmed this. He was kidnapped on Wednesday while travelling from Kech to Quetta. This, honestly, reveals just how bad the security situation is. If an assistant commissioner with a security detail can be abducted, imagine for a moment the plight of ordinary citizens. The next significant piece of news concerns Maulana Tariq Jamil. He made a truthful statement about Imran Khan, particularly regarding what happened at Sindh House, the manipulation of Form 47s, the rigged elections in Pakistan, and how people were bought to form a government. He questioned how those responsible could possibly stand before God. As a result of speaking this truth, Maulana Tariq Jamil has now become a target. A man who donated all his property to Shaukat Khanum Hospital. Can such a man be sold for just a wristwatch? Yet he has been humiliated. Judges and politicians will all have to answer for their actions in the hereafter, he said. It's being said that due to these remarks, powerful individuals like Mr. Chaudhry have used their influence to distance him from the Tablighi Jamaat. Though I will not use the term expelled, as that would be disrespectful, he is still an honourable figure to many of us. I may disagree with him on some things, but I respect him for spreading love and unity rather than division, for speaking of peace, harmony and interfaith brotherhood, and for avoiding sectarianism. His moderate tone has always stood out. Unfortunately now, Mr. Chaudhry has made him a target, using power to silence him. Maulana Tariq Jamil expressed his grief, saying, "I came to Raiwind at 18, I'm now 72. You don't understand what I sacrificed to be here, and now you've turned me into a puppet." Within the Tablighi Jamaat, many are voicing their anger, saying the way he was stopped from speaking was thuggish and un-Islamic. Those who stopped him have no connection to religion or the Quran or the Sunnah. Thugs and goons have now overtaken the Raiwind leadership. You've now heard it yourself and seen how vicious the attack on Maulana Tariq Jamil is. We will raise our voices for him, and I hope you do too, even if you differ with his religious views. We must all condemn this injustice. Just because he spoke one uncomfortable truth, now even scholars are not being spared. Next, let's move to Praveen Sahani, a retired Indian Army officer. He is deeply disliked in India because he speaks sensibly and voices unpopular opinions. He was the one who advised India against attacking Pakistan, reminding them that Pakistan is also a nuclear country. Recently, he made a troubling observation. He said that in meeting many people from Indian-occupied Kashmir, most expressed that they no longer have any hope from Pakistan. Their reasoning? If Pakistan can jail a widely popular leader like Imran Khan, how can they stand for us? That is a valid question. Coming from Sahani, who has always supported logic and peace, this should not be dismissed as a conspiracy. If this is how you treat your own popular leaders, what would you do for the Kashmiris? Meanwhile, Azad Kashmir is also facing unrest protests, road closures, missing youth, similar to what's happening in Balochistan. Our intelligence agencies are using brute force without any strategic thinking, and that will have serious consequences in the future. Another piece of news, Bushra Bibi, the wife of Imran Khan, is reportedly being subjected to extreme hardship in jail. Her sister Mariam Butt stated that she is given muddy, dirty water for ablution. Her clothes cannot be washed, the food is unhygienic and infested with insects, and she's suffering from infections due to insect bites. Journalist Kamar Mahmood, who regularly covers Adiala jail, confirms this and tweeted about her condition, saying that she is enduring inhumane treatment inside. This is another outrageous and disgraceful action led by our so-called field marshal. Bushra Bibi is not a political figure, she's a housewife, and she is being punished simply for being Imran Khan's wife. History may not have seen such an example of cruelty. All we can do is condemn it and pray that God grants these rulers some shame and mercy, especially in how they treat women. That wraps up our translation of Shahbaz Gill's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.